Hi and welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to look at the AWS Elastic Container Service. So this is the container management service that's provided by AWS. This helps you manage your Docker containers in a cluster. So in the earlier video, we had seen that one of the most popular container orchestration tools is Kubernetes. But AWS also has their own managed service, which also has support for Kubernetes, and that is the Elastic Container Service. Now, one of the important things about the service is that I said it helps you manage your Docker containers for your applications. But the main important thing is that you don't need to install any container orchestration software. So if you're using Kubernetes as in the plain vanilla format, then you have to build your service. You need to install the Kubernetes tools and then, maintain the tools. So this is an overhead for an organization that's looking for something that's as a managed service. So there are some companies that don't want that overhead of actually maintaining systems which have Kubernetes already installed. They would rather have a completely managed service. And this is what the AWS Elastic Container Service provides. So the architecture of the service in a nutshell, you have something known as a task definition. We're actually going to look at a demo of how to use the Elastic Container Service because it is important if you're looking at the entire AWS platform for building your microservices based applications. So in the task, you will define aspects as what are the Docker images to be used for that particular task. You will then assign the amount of CPU and memory that needs to be used for each container that will be spun up by the task. You will then choose what is the Docker networking mode to be used for the task. Now, when you have a task, you can have multiple tasks. So you could have one task which is pulling out an Nginx image from Docker Hub. You could have another task that is actually pulling out the Apache image from Docker Hub. This can then be created as a task and then assigned to a cluster. And the same thing goes for the other task definition as well. This is what helps you to segregate these tasks altogether. Now in the task itself, it has the ability to pull out the images from various registry places. So you can pull it out from Docker Hub or even from the Amazon Elastic Container Registry. Now for the task itself, it's allocated an Elastic Network Interface. It's made to run in an availability zone in a VPC. You could then have a service attached to this task which allows you to access the Docker container from the outside world. And we're also going to look at this in our demo. So here we are in the AWS console. Now, in order to start working with the Elastic Container Service, let's click on the Elastic Container Service option, which is present in the compute section. Now on this section, since I've not already created an Elastic Container instance, I can click on the Get Started screen. Now the first thing we have to do is that we have to define what is our container. So there are already some pre-configured containers available out here or images. So we can choose an example image. So we can choose the Nginx image. We can then click on next for the task definition. So you've now got the service name already there, the Nginx service. The desired number of tasks will be 1. We'll automatically create a new security group. We will not attach a load balancer at this point in time. We just want to see how the Elastic Container Service works. We'll go on to next. Now in this, we need to give a cluster name. Let's leave the cluster name as it is. Now automatically as part of this wizard, VPCs and subnets will be created for you. You also have advanced configuration in which you can specify the VPCs and subnets yourself. But if you are a beginner, I suggest you go through the wizard first to see how the container service runs. Now once you're happy with the entire configuration, go on and create your service. Now let's come back once all of the items are complete. Now once you've actually gone ahead and created the complete service, so you can see all the tasks have run, you can click on View Service and then you'll get the details of the service if you go on to the task. So you will see that your task definition is now in the running state. Now if you go on to the task definition, it will show you different aspects as to how much of memory and CPU has been allocated to the current container. And if you go back, so let's go back to our task definition. So we can go on to our cluster. Once we're on our cluster, you can go on to your tasks. You can then click on the task name. So in the task name, you will now get a public IP that's assigned to the task. So this is actually now the public IP that's assigned to your container, which has Nginx already running as a web service. So if you go on to another tab and you just take the public IP, that's it. You've got Nginx up and running. So you've seen so easily what has happened is that the Elastic Container Service has pulled down the Nginx image from Docker Hub. It has created the container. It's launched it in an instance which is in a subnet, it's assigned a public IP and everything is automatically done for you. So this is the benefit of actually using the Elastic Container Service. You can define many more tasks like this, different tasks, and you can run them parallelly. Now let's look at the course summary. So in this entire course, you've seen what is the microservices architecture. We've seen the options available on AWS for developing microservices. We've seen how to manage your deployments. We've looked at what is the concept of continuous integration. And finally, we looked at containers and how it actually adopts to microservices. Thank you for taking this course.